Before James Gunn's Superman movie, DC Comics is launching a new initiative in the comics that marks the beginning of a new era for the Man of Steel. I'm Andrew the Geek Master, and in today's video, we'll cover everything that happened in the Summer of Superman special, which looks at the past, present, and future of the last son of Krypton. To not miss stories like this one, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and let's get started. The story begins with Clark remembering when he was 16. That summer, he was with his friend Lana Lang, and he recalls how special she was to him. Lana was the sweetheart of Smallville. She volunteered at the Veterans Clinic, wrote letters to soldiers overseas, and made sure the elderly were fed. She also helped children, and it was that summer that Clark finally admitted to himself that he was in love with her. So he decided to confess two things to his best friend. First, that he loved her, and second, that he was secretly Superboy. However, just as he was about to reveal his secrets, Smallville's main street is attacked by a villain Clark already knew. So Clark makes up an excuse saying he has a stomachache, then quickly changes into his Superboy suit and calls his dog Crypto. They quickly rush at the villain named Validus, the brain of an angry child inside a body that could crush mountains, whom Clark encountered during his adventures with the Legion of Superheroes. Clark wonders how the villain got to Smallville, but more importantly, how fast he could get him out of there. Clark even tries to talk to the villain, but that wasn't out of kindness. He knew Validus was practically unbeatable. Then, during this battle, a rift in space-time opens above them and sends them both to another place. They fight as they fall through the flow of time, witnessing the past, present, and future. But Clark was too busy to worry about spoilers. Plus, the Legionnaires gave him a mental block to prevent him from remembering anything the time travel revealed about his own future. However, something in those visions caught his attention. Clark sees a vision of himself as an adult, with a son and a wife. He had no doubt that Lana was the right girl, and that they should be together forever. That's why he was shocked to learn that in the future, he's married to someone who isn't Lana. In his anger, he punches Validus with all his strength to end this madness, but he passes right through Validus and returns to Earth at the exact moment he left. He never discovered what happened to Validus that day, nor what was pulling him through time. Thanks to the mental block the Legion placed on his mind to stop him from bringing future information back to the past, his memories of his future family simply start fading away. But when he returns to Lana, he subconsciously knows he shouldn't tell her how he feels. Years later, when he met Lois, he started putting the pieces together. What happened that day was a gift, because not only did Lana and he remain friends, but she also kept his secret for the woman who would become the true love of his life. Now we jump to the present, where Lana Lang is finally about to get what she deserves. Yes, Lois and Clark are in Smallville for the wedding of John Henry Irons and Lana Lang. Clark is very happy, while his father, on the other hand, is convinced that a storm is coming, even though all the weather reports predict a dry day. Additionally, with his super hearing, Lois and Clark overhear Lana suggesting to John Henry that they postpone the wedding, and Clark goes to ask her what's wrong. Lana admits that she's worried because whenever something important happens in their lives, some kind of superhero-related crisis ruins everything. Clark tells her that marrying Lois was the best thing that ever happened to him, and he hopes that Lana will feel the same. He assures her that nothing can go wrong. But just as he says this, a rift opens above them, and Validus emerges. This leaves Superman very confused. And to make things worse, Validus's arrival suddenly changes the weather, and the storm of the century is heading towards Smallville. Quickly, the superfamily springs into action to evacuate the town and try to divert the storm while Superman fights Validus. First, Superman hits him with great force to send the villain as far away from the town as possible. While the Man of Steel does what he can to stop the villain, large tornadoes invade Smallville. But thanks to the heroes, no one is killed. During the fight, Superman gets distracted because Jonathan is caught by a hurricane. Lois manages to rescue her father-in-law before the worst happens, but Clark ends up getting caught by the villain. Seeing that Smallville is devastated, Superman becomes enraged and lands a series of powerful punches to finally take down the villain. However, at that moment, Validus simply disappears after being struck by lightning, leaving Clark even more confused about what's going on. When Clark returns to Smallville and sees the destruction of the town up close, he immediately gets ready to help with the cleanup. Natasha Irons asks if the storm was part of some kind of attack, but Clark reveals that the storms were just part of a natural phenomenon caused by the choices humans make every day. The good news is that they can still save the planet. To do this, John Henry Irons holds a press conference and promises that Steelworks will fund the reconstruction of the town and also invest in infrastructure to try to prevent such a catastrophe from happening again. Then he and Lana decide to get married right there, right now. Clark even asks if Lana really wants to get married among the wreckage, but Lana says Clark was right earlier and thanks him for keeping his promise. And indeed, as Clark himself narrates, he's been to the ends of the earth, seen distant alien worlds, multiple lands, realms of gods and monsters, and even islands of Amazons. But according to him, nothing beats Smallville in the summer. This is the moment when John Henry kisses Lana, sealing the love between them, which is cheered by the whole town. After that, there's a lot of celebration at the location, and Natasha catches the bouquet thrown by Lana, indicating that she'll be the next to get married. It's happy moments like these that remind Superman that family and friends are the most important things in life. One day after Lana and John Henry's wedding, Superman returns to the place where Validus emerged with Mr. Incredible and Omen. Validus appeared in the same spot in different decades, but clearly only a few seconds passed for him. That's why Superman had the idea to pull Validus to the present. They use a large device to open a portal, and as soon as Superman spots the villain inside, he pulls Validus out. The villain arrives by landing a huge punch on the Man of Steel, but luckily, the heroes have a plan. While Superman and Mr. Incredible try to contain the villain, Omen, one of the new members of the Justice League, attempts to make telepathic contact with him. Unfortunately, she only detects waves of emotion coming from Validus. However, strangely, Validus simply disappears once again. The good news is that the rift in that place has been sealed, and Validus won't return. Still, Omen warns that when she read Validus's thoughts, she discovered that he wasn't hunting Superman. He didn't come to attack him. Instead, he was fleeing. Superman's summer ends with him planning to contact the Legion of Superheroes because he knows very well that time travel is very dangerous. But for now, he will enjoy his time with his family because he knows that the future is full of surprises. And to finish, we have an epilogue showing Validus's fate and also serving as a lead-in for a massive crossover coming soon. We see Validus being pulled back to the 30th century, landing amidst the rubble and bodies of his Fatal Five teammates in a completely devastated world. As soon as he arrives, he's confronted by the Legion of the Absolute Universe. Lightning Lad attacks him with his lightning while Saturn Girl says Darkseid won't like it if there's any anomaly in the timeline. Meanwhile, Cosmic Boy suggests they use Validus to torture their guest of honor, who is the Booster Gold. Yes, Booster Gold was the only hero from our Earth who went to the Absolute Universe, and no one knows if he's alive. Everything points to the fact that it was Booster Gold who sent Validus to the past, hoping this would sound an alarm to Superman. Maybe Validus would warn the League about what's to come, that Booster is alive in the other world, and maybe the League would send help to save the day. However, now Booster knows that the future is already lost. The Absolute Universe is getting closer, and if things were already complicated, the worst is yet to come. Validus, Darkseid, and Booster Gold. The battle for the future has already begun, and no one is safe. Stay tuned because the greatest danger of the multiverse is coming, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next videos. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next adventure.